Hey cats, what's happening? I hear the red-winged blackbird singing over there. Spring is on its way. I think winter's finally losing its grip on us. I mean, it's still freezing right now. The ground's still frozen, but today it's supposed to get up over freezing, you know, into the, probably in the, almost into the upper 40s, I think, today. And every day after that, we're going to be out of the freezing weather, so looking forward to that. But we're going to work in the man cave today on the bike. I'm going to work on this gas cap today, so I'm going to take this off of here and see what I can do to fix it. It's got some pitting, some corrosion on there. I think I might be able to get that off of there with some fine steel wool or something. We'll try that. But anyway, there's just, you got this little pin that holds the hinge on there, and there's a little tiny circlip on that side which I removed, and then we can slide this pin out to pull this gas cap off, and there we go. Now I've showed you, on this before, but this is like starting from scratch. A little spring, and there's a circlip there. I'm going to take that off next. This is on a spring, so it moves. So I'm going to push down on this, pop this little C-clip off of there. I might have to get a new one. I don't know. That thing's got a little bit of rust on it, but it still seems to have some spring. And then I can pull that off of there. Now, you'll see how it has a groove in this gasket, so it actually fits around this thing. So I'm going to peel that off of there if I can without breaking it. It's very, very brittle. Alright, that's off of there, and then this comes apart in two pieces. There's also a spring in there. So I've got to clean this up. It's pitted pretty bad, or not really. Well, it's got a couple pits in it, but it's just got some corrosion on there that I'm going to try to see if I can get off with some fine steel wool or something. But in the meantime, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to deal with this? I mean, look at this thing. It's in real bad shape, so it's of no use at all anymore. Now, one of the things that I've learned about this Yamaha is there are websites that I can go to get vintage Yamaha parts. Now, one of the weird things I found, though, is that there's quite a few sites that, although they have different names or titles, when you open the website, it's the exact same website as the one before. The exact same website, the exact same parts, the exact same, drawings, everything. So, and then when you go down the list of parts, and say like you get to this gasket, no longer available, so you can't buy that. So this being kind of a special part, I mean, you can see it's got that groove in there. It's thicker on one side than it is on the other. Yeah. How am I going to fix that when I can't even buy the part? So I went like to Home Depot and I shopped around like plumbing parts to see if I could find something similar to this, the right same size and shape, but I struck out on that. One thing I did do, though, is I found a plumbing part that I can probably be able to use. So if you've watched my last video, you'll see that my plan was that I'm going to try to cut a gasket out of that, because it seems to be about the same size around that I'm going to need. And you'll see it's pretty close in diameter and thickness, so I think it's going to work. Now, what I want to do though is I'm going to try to cut the same thickness as this off of this thing. So I'm going to use a razor blade that I'm going to use, and I got to be real careful with this because I'm going to insert it in here and just start carving down in there the thickness that I am going to need. Now, I will say safety is always really important, but using these razor blades can be really dangerous too. You want to be really careful when you use these things. Keep your fingers out of the way, and don't put a lot of pressure, because when you're forcing something and it slips, and then it's too late, and then you got an emergency situation. Don't want that either. All right, I've got a piece cut. It's a little rough on the edge, you can see, so I've got some smoothing out to do on that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to sand the roughness off and I got a fine, like 80 grit, 100 grit on there. I don't know what it is, but it's a fine sandpaper. So that worked pretty good. I mean, I've got both surfaces pretty smooth. Now the only thing I'm going to have to do is figure out how I'm going to cut that little groove in the middle, so that when I place this back in there, this will fit, slide into the groove. And I think I've got an idea how I'm going to do that. I've got a Dremel tool here. I don't know if you have one of these, but this is the handiest thing. I got a cutoff wheel on there. So I'm going to try that. One thing you will always want to remember when you work in the shop doing projects like this, to wear some safety glasses or something to protect your eyes, because there's nothing more valuable than your eyesight. And if something goes wrong, and these cutting wheels are very thin and they can explode. Anything could happen. So just, take some safety precautions. I'm going to stand this up like this, and I'm going to see what I can do. I have got, you can probably see there, I got the little groove carved in there with my Dremel. So now, this piece, it'll fit right in there. I'll stretch it out around there. And there you go. That should work. That should seal it up. Pretty close to the same one, unless I could find an exact fit for that. That's going to have to work. And really all it has to do is seal around there, which it seems to fit pretty good. Well, there you go. I've got the thickness and I've got the groove cut in it. It's not like a machine shop by any means. I mean, rubber fabricating is quite a bit different. I've never tried that before, but hey, whatever works, you know. And that way I don't have to search around for another part anymore. Now, if this fails, I'm going to have to try to find some other way to fabricate something, or see if I can actually find one. I've done pretty extensive search online and haven't been able to find some parts. And this rubber gasket was one of them that said no longer available, obsolete. You go to the sites and they list all the parts that are available, and it actually has this part listed, but when you go to click on it, it says no longer available. And every website I looked at, same thing. And there's other parts of the bike which are the same. So I may run into this problem in the future, depending on what I do. You know, I'm going to have to try to come up with another plan on how I'm going to do this. But for now, I think I got the gas cap thing figured out, so I just need to put it all back together, and then I can continue working on the gas tank itself. I would still like to try to get these two dents out of here. I'm going to try some other tricks and see what I can do with that. I still have the rust to get out of there, and what I'm going to do with that is I've got vinegar that I've been picking up at Walmart, just your regular white vinegar, and you fill the tank up with that and let it sit for 24 hours. I mean, you could put some nuts and bolts in there and shake them around, and that'll break the rust loose out of there. But that vinegar is like a mild acid, so it will eat away whatever corrosion is still in the gas tank. And I might have to do it a couple times, but you know, whatever it's going to take, I don't care. You know, I should be able to get most. It's not overly rusty in there, but enough that it needs a treatment, or otherwise, when I go to use it, I'll continue to get rust in my float bowl and my filter. It'll just keep clogging up, so best to clean that rust out of there. So that'll be the next step, but first I'm going to see what I can do with these dents. And once I get that remedied, I'll work on getting the rust out of the tank and reassemble everything. And I'm probably going to get a new petcock for it. I'm going to take that off of there too and see what condition that's in. But I think I'll wait until I do the rest of the work on this. You know, working on the bike is a fun thing for me, and I can piddle around on it as I want. It's certainly not a priority. It's something that doesn't have to be done. But what are, you know, come to think of it, what are your priorities in life? You know, what are my priorities right now? Good question. One of the things that I like to do is get out every day and take a hike or a walk. Try to do, you know, 3 or 4 miles. I think it's a priority for me to keep myself in good health. You know, life is completely different for me without my partner. It's been over 4 months since I lost my wife, and it's easy just to like go into a nutshell, you know, and mope and pout about it. But I can't do that. I have to rise up above it. I have to be strong. I do miss her. I do grieve her not being around anymore. She was the best thing that ever happened to me, mind you. But she's gone now, and I got to deal with it. And I am starting this new chapter in my life, and I can't let that depression overwhelm me and drag me down either. So, I have to have some priorities in life. I have to have some direction. So yeah, exercise and trying to stay in somewhat of good health is a priority of mine. People have different priorities, of whatever you're going to put most of your focus on in life. There are people that just completely engross themselves in their job, where the job becomes number one in their life. Even when they're at home, they're still about the job. Talking about their job, maybe doing work at home that involves their career, their job, and it can consume your life. Other people's priorities are quite different. Some people's priorities is to get drunk, to drink every day, or to do drugs every day. I don't know if that's so much a priority than a habit, but not a good priority to have in your life. Priority meaning that, it's the number one thing you think about that you're going to do today. Pick up the bottle. Not a good move. It's not going to bring you anywhere in life. It's going to take you the other way. Some people fail to prioritize their relationships, their family, their spouse even. One of the things that I had with Valerie was that we were very compatible, and we knew each other's needs, and we met those needs every day. I never took it for granted that she was my partner, and I tried to let her know that every day. I told her how much I loved her. She told me how much she loved me. We were compassionate. We were all about hugs and kisses, and those are important in a relationship. It should be a priority in your marital relationship to have that intimacy, that where you stay close. So many people tend to drift apart. It happened in my first marriage. I see a lot of things that I failed in my first marriage, and I didn't prioritize my relationship with my wife at that time. My priorities were elsewhere. My priority was motorcycle, getting out with the boys and riding and drinking and carrying on. That was my priority in life. And being that I made that my priority, my marriage failed. Once the kids left the nest and it was just her and I, it quickly fell apart because her and I really didn't have that bond. We didn't prioritize each other like we should have. And that was the end of that relationship, sadly. But then I met Valerie, and being that we both came from broken relationships, we realized how important it was to make our relationship a priority, to really focus on each other and know what each other's needs were. And it worked pretty well for us. Well, it's a beautiful day. I think I'm going to get out and get some exercise again today and enjoy the sunny weather. It's still a little cold this morning, but it's going to keep warming up. And from here on out, it looks like the weather's going to stay above freezing, and there might even be some days where we can get the motorcycle out and take a ride. So I'm looking forward to that immensely. It's been it's been an easy winter here in Northeast Ohio. By all means, we hardly had any snow, so that was good. I never even had to pull the snowblower out of the garage one time this year. And I think I only had to shovel the sidewalk maybe twice all winter. So, yeah, that's pretty darn good. And I didn't go through the firewood like I have in the past. We had a couple weeks where it was really, really cold, but most of the winter temperatures were even up into the 60s a couple days this winter, so can't beat that. But I'm looking forward to the springtime, not only for riding weather, but I love yard work and gardening, and I'm anxious to get on it. Right now, the garden, everything is a mud hole, so there's nothing I can do right now. But as soon as it dries up, I can start hitting that pretty hard, and that'll be my daily exercise for sure. Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you like my video, hit that thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my videos and continue to ride along with us on this journey. Until next time, cats, ride hard and die free.